So, of course, for today's gaming video, I decided to do Math Blaster. Now, Math Blaster might not be known by everybody, but I personally enjoyed Math Blaster when I was a kid because my mom was a computer lab teacher, and then it was used in future computer labs when I was in elementary school. And it is honestly a very, very, very fun educational game. Math Blaster first came out in 1983 as kind of an edutainment video game, and it was the first Math Blaster game. But what I chose to play today was Math Blaster Episode 1 in Search of Spot, which is the familiar that I am most familiar with, and it is also kind of a remake of the first Math Blaster, which, fair enough. It's a pretty good game, I would argue. It's very basic, but despite it being an educational game, it has a cute art style, the music is existent, the gameplay is fun for an educational game, and honestly, I still have a lot of nostalgia for the game. The game, of course, has multiple kind of mini games. There's the Trash Zapper. The Trash Zapper is kind of like the Blasternaut, which is your main character, is using math to generate tractor beams that collect the trash. I always thought that it was blowing up the trash, but apparently it's a tractor beam. So, whatever. Then there's Number Recycler, where the Blasternaut goes down to a chamber and recycles the trash. All, of course, using equations and everything like that. Then there was Cave Runner, which was the part of Math Blaster that I enjoyed
Great
the
work,
most.
Blasternaut. You're
Pretty
up.
much
Good
following
luck.
Math Blaster or Blasternaut, having fueled the tanks, he is now able to go track the trash alien to a series of caves. So he uses a jetpack that he flies down to the surface with. Then every level of the cave contains a different gap with a number that you solve with math. It's a very basic math game. But this was the part of it that when I played, even as a kid, I always enjoyed the most, personally. I think it's very intuitive. It's easy to know. Even not having Windows 10, it was not the appropriate Windows, not Windows 10, even way back before Windows 10. Even not having the appropriate operating system, running it on Internet Archive was still pretty easy to use. And then, of course, the Cave Runner might have been my favorite part of the game, but the final bit of it is Math Blaster, which is where you track down the trash alien's flying saucer and you rescue Spot. In order to do this, you have to fly through one of the 4 openings in the flying saucer, which contain the number of a particular problem. More math. It's pretty basic, but, it helps teaches you addiction. It does not teach you that. It teaches you addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, number patterns, estimation, fractions, decimals, percents, and it kind of has a mix of all of that in some of the games. It sold pretty well too, because Math Blaster Episode 1, in Search of Spot at least, was rated as one of the top 100 CD-ROM games of 1994, which I have to say, for an educational game, is pretty impressive. I don't know how common the CD-ROM gaming scene was at the time, but I think that this is an achievement, and it's a game that definitely lasted past 1994, because I was playing this game in 2007. So I had a lot of fun with this game as a kid, and I think it holds up to how it is now. To kind of go back to the very first Math Blaster, to kind of get into the history of the game was developed by a former educator, Jan Davidson. It was kind of revised and remade a couple times, but the game was made for a very basic goal, which was to aid students in master 1st to 6th grade mathematics in an exciting and interesting manner. The learning activities were advertised as graphically appealing and promised to motivate and challenge students. I would argue that it does a pretty good job of that. It's a very fun game. Even just now as a college student, I'll just kind of had a blast just playing this old game because the math was easy enough that I didn't really have to worry or stress about anything. It was just a very fun game, and I enjoyed going back to it. It is a very simple premise, very simple game, very simple math, but it's fun, it holds up, and I hope that it stays around in some way. It was very easy to find it thanks to the Internet Archive, where I could download the couple different files from it, or I could just play it in DOSBox. And I had fun with it, and that's pretty much it for this week. It's a very straightforward gaming vid, I know, but I don't think it had to be too complicated. Anyway, that's it for this week. Like and subscribe. We'll be back next week with something else.
Congratulations, Blasternaut! Mission accomplished!